hates Omicron. Falcon hates puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie. Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Sir Somicron of the Falcon Paladin Hour. It is good to be here, as always.
As always, yes.
Another
It
good
is
week for a podcast.
Oh yeah, it's always a good week for a podcast. It is, however, not a good week because it is Easter.
It's hot cross buns peak time.
Oh yes. Tomorrow I will make somewhere in the range of thousands of them. I am scheduled to do. Oh my god, you're frozen. What happened, Falcon? Come back. Oh no. Oh no, it's just me. Huh. I'm over here now. Oh no, I'm over here. There's a visual
Discord
gag.
just straight up crashed.
Didn't it do this last week, but you made it right back at the at the start of the show? Okay.
It crashed during the intro song, and then I came back right in time, and it waited a little bit longer this time to crash and reboot on me. So that's cool.
Still don't have your camera back.
Oh, I think do I have to
You might have to toggle it. Yeah.
on.
Boop. All right, there we
I guess
go.
when it goes off, it just if you want your camera back, you can choose to turn it back on. All right, seems fair.
Sure.
Wow. I have a stern talking to with Discord.
Is Discord listening to the stream? Maybe the podcast has shutdown codes embedded in it, like the theme song. It just tells it to be all right, now disconnect now.
No, I'm just late this time. That's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, hot cross buns.
Yeah.
We'll make 800,000 of them tomorrow.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah. It's great.
Sounds
Love it.
Terrible.
Yep. Scheduled to work from midnight to 10 a.m. at least.
Blech.
Yeah, it's great. Just love it. Woo.
All right. Well, other than expressing condolences, I'm not sure where else to go with the hot cross buns narrative.
Well, at least I'll be over soon. It'll all be over soon.
That's true. And that's just another few short months until it's back.
Yes, that is also true.
Tragically.
Even the good times shall pass. Yeah.
Very true. So I'm getting dumped on with snow again, Somicron.
It's April.
It has been snowing for over 24 hours straight right now, Somicron. I have shoveled my driveway 3 freaking times.
Maybe you should stop until it stops
terrible.
snowing.
I don't know. The governor had this announcement today that's we're kind of in uncharted territory with snow, and we're going to have crazy flooding. So, everybody be ready for that. Awesome. Looking forward to that part.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Natural disaster time in Utah, I guess.
Yeah. So back in '83, I was 1 year old, so I don't remember this, but yeah, we had crazy record-breaking snow. So the mountains had all the snow in it, and then a pretty warm spring, and it just whoosh came down the mountain through the canyons. It had flooded State Street in Salt Lake City, 2 feet high, just water, whoosh, like a river right through the middle of the downtown, and it's okay. So apparently after that happened, they put a lot of money towards flood mitigation. They added some extra drainage canals and some extra reservoirs to catch it. And so we'll see. Sure. We haven't really had to use it. We haven't had snow like this since '83.
I'm sure the funding for this public service that you haven't had to use in 40 years definitely has been keeping up with repairs and maintenance. And it definitely hasn't been siphoned off to dodgy contractors building roads that go nowhere and other personal slush funds.
That never happens in government, not at all.
No, don't look at Turkey. No,
don't look at every country on Earth.
Yeah,
I can guarantee something like that has happened everywhere on some scale or another.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. Yeah. So I shoveled my driveway this afternoon for the 3rd time. I was like, okay. The snow's coming down, but it's kind of subsiding. All right, it's lighter snow. It's not really sticking to the driveway or the roads or anything. I think we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of it. And then like 2 hours later, it's dumping again. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Stop, please. Not stopping. Not stopping.
Not stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. No.
Well, I got home from work pretty early this morning. I did midnight to 7:30, which wasn't bad. And I'm like, oh, it's a bright sunny day. It's been raining. I'm gonna put on a load of washing finally. And I put on a load. I walk outside to go and hang it out. Clouds. Moved in from freaking nowhere. So now I'm like keeping an eye on the outside. Be like, if it rains, I gotta go bring it all in.
I feel like investing in a dryer to go along with your washing machine would be great.
The apartment we were living at had one provided in our laundry, in our private laundry. I was like half tempted just to steal it, but I think they might have noticed it was missing when they went to check the property when we were done with it. But yeah, no, I'm deeply considering getting a dryer.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Riveting.
We have that decided.
Just adult life, you know. Oh, I gotta go get a dryer. Do I want the 4 kilo or the 7?
You know, one thing, we've probably talked about this on the podcast before because we're boring and old, but if your washing machine does a really good job on the spin cycle, like drying the clothes out through spinning, then it helps your dryer be more effective. Like the more water content is in your clothes before they get to the dryer, the more the dryer has to work. So
right.
Anyway, it's a symbiotic relationship, I suppose.
It's true. Do you know what else is a symbiotic relationship?
What?
Kazuki and Rei and Miri-chan. Did you watch the season finale of Buddy Daddies?
I did. Yes. You mean Daughter Daddies?
Daughter Daddies. A great spin on it. And
it was.
I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not sure the ending holds up to a lot of scrutiny, but I feel like they nailed it. And maybe they're just playing on me because I wanted to see a good happy ending for everyone involved. But I mean, if it's a sucker move, they've suckered me in.
Yeah, I mean, the whole show is built upon how adorable Miri is, and like how much Kazuki and Rei love her. And if that is working, then everything else pretty much works.
Yeah.
I mean, all the murder and the violence that goes on in this show, it's kind of secondary. Like it's there and it's interesting and it's kind of fun, but like that doesn't really matter.
Right. Yeah. I felt like when they busted into the mansion's main doors and then backed out without getting shot, I was like, okay, they definitely have bullet dodging abilities, like both of them. There was 8 guys pointed at the door.
They established it early. This is not new. They have bullet dodging capabilities like the Flash and Neo or something.
Yep.
Like Kazuki sucks at shooting anyone. He can't hit anyone to save his life, but he can dodge bullets, which is a pretty good skill to have.
Yeah. Yep.
Can I just say they're like, Miri's like, okay, my mom's not coming. I have a sneaking suspicion something happened to her, but you guys are coming, right? And they're like, yes. She pinky swears, and they're like, yes. And I'm like, oh, good. And then they're like, we're gonna go get in a giant gun battle with a bunch of mafia dudes. And it's like, are you serious, you guys? Like, stick around for the Christmas program and do this tomorrow. They're still gonna be there.
Well, I think they were using the Christmas program as a babysitter, right? So like,
he goes to preschool every day.
Sure. But like at the start of preschool, they went and prepared and prepped, and then it happened to go late because of the Christmas program, and that's when they happened to get there. Like they needed the time. That's all I'm saying. Q-Chan was sick of their shit.
Poor Miss Anna. Like it's an hour after the program's over, and Rei and Kazuki haven't come back, and she's like, "So, what do I do with this little girl? This sucks."
Yeah, It's like, where do you live? And then she would give her mother's address where she's assumedly been living for weeks, only to find that like her dead body was found there 3 days ago. And it's like, oh, what is going on? Anna Sensei is suddenly all in over her head.
And suddenly they're looking into who Kazuki and Rei are, and they're totally have fictitious papers and everything. And she's like, what is going on? Yeah.
I want to see that show.
And then Miri is just irrevocably mentally scarred because all the people she's ever cared about in her entire life abandoned her, and she doesn't know why. Yeah, that show. That's a darker show.
That is a darker show. I was more in for the teacher who's suddenly involved in a plot. It's a little Pelican Brief-esque, But, Anna Sensei, I think she's got the range. She could pull it off. She was sweet. She looks
she's a really good teacher.
Yeah, so frustrated when it came to playing that piano.
Yeah, that was a great face. Oh man. Yeah, I just Kazuki and Rei's horrible levels of irresponsibility there. It was just like, you guys don't make promises you can't keep. You're going into a gun battle with like 100 dudes.
Yeah, but they don't have the ability. They don't have the the other 100 dudes don't have the ability to, dodge bullets. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, they drove past like 20 dudes at like the check stop right by the gate who never came to like check up on the house. They just drove past them, and they were like, "Well,
didn't shoot at them on the way out either." I don't think.
Nope. They were just like, "It's our job to defend this check stop, not the gate, not the house. Either one of them everyone could die there. We are not leaving our posts."
Yeah, it's like boss didn't say to leave your post. You don't leave your post.
Can I also say it was very disappointing that Q-Chan's like, "Hi, I got you the special gear you need for this heist," and it's like an Uzi and 2 smoke grenades. Like that was their moment to be like, "Here's something ridiculous,"
It's like, give them a rocket launcher, something cool.
Right? Yeah. Even just like all of the all right, it's time to suit up. We got an uber dangerous mission to go on. Like, they could have done so many things, and it's an Uzi and 2 smoke grenades.
Well, more than 2, because they threw 2 in the front door, and then they had another one for the second level. So
at
least 3.
Okay. I only saw 2, but yeah, 3.
Yeah. Freaking Kazuki, man. I think he can kill you if you're like 2 feet away and not looking at him. He can kill you with a gun, but like if he's facing you down, he gonna miss. He's got what's his face shotgun guy dead to rights and 3 shots at him and misses completely with everyone. It's like, how are you an assassin? How on earth? Like, I get it. You're the costume guy. You're the infiltration guy. But like, you have to be somewhat decent with guns.
Which is weird because
so bad.
In the first episode, he's the one that shoots the mafia boss, who's like Miri's dad.
Oh, that's true.
Isn't it?
Like,
because I know Ray's there, but I vaguely remember being like, "Miri, I'm your papa, jump!" And then he grabs her and shoots him.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I mean, I don't know. That guy was holding still and standing there, and I don't know. Yeah. He wasn't armed. Like, maybe he's better at shooting people that don't have guns.
He had a gun because he was threatening Miri.
What?
Wasn't he?
I do not remember that from the first episode.
I think he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine, fair enough. Good shot, Kazuki. It's the only good one you have the entire series. Everything else is Ray.
At least he gets one in.
Yeah. I did. What's his name? The
Ogano.
Ogano? What a weird name.
That's the final words Hitman guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a standard Japanese name, Ogano? It feels weird to me.
Here's the thing. I actually read that character as not Japanese. Like, he feels like because he's so big that he's not meant to be Japanese. And I don't know if that word means something. And he's just like an outsider who's been given a title.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that I had that thought today when I was watching the show. Like the parents in the crowd at the preschool program, they're like
Hmm.
blonde, redhead, brown hair people. Like none of them look Japanese at all. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is not Japan.
I know, no. Everything there is pretty Japanese, right? Like
Except for the people. They're not Japanese
that.
people.
I would
They're
say that you need to go and look at a Japanese crowd. Not all of them are the black-haired anime protagonists that you know from Sword Art Online, right? Maybe they took some liberties, but maybe people in Japan are starting to dye their hair crazy colors, and crazy colors is just like red and blonde.
Yeah. No, I mean, no. I've watched enough anime to know that, yeah, they like drawing different types of people rather than
What is technically
stereotypically
right
Japanese. Yeah.
or accurately descriptive of the location generally, yeah.
Right.
But I mean, everything else about that feels very Japanese.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As someone who's never been to Japan and is clearly an expert, it felt Japanese.
It's an otaku. It's fine.
Yeah.
You're a weeb.
Totes.
So anyway, yeah, it was nice. Little 10-year flash forward. I love that Ray still can only make French toast.
But now he's
Never
nailed
bothered
it.
to learn anything else.
But now
Like,
he's right.
French toast.
Right, but I love the character arc where like at first he can't do it, and then he learns. Like Kazuki teaches him and Miri, and now they're making a restaurant, and his specialty is French toast. That's sweet.
His only thing is French toast. It would be different if his specialty was French toast. But Kazuki's like, you should learn to make something else, and Ray goes, no.
But that's what a specialty is. He can make regular toast. His specialty is French toast.
He can make regular toast. I'm not convinced that's true. I don't know if that's accurate.
How do you not believe that? It's toast.
Anywho, and then Mary's going into high school and she's adorable and she still does the same faces she did when she was 4. And it's like, well, there's a certain level of you change a lot from the age of 4 to 14, but it's fine. We can roll with it. Well, then I was a little bit like, she's all right, squeeze together. We're gonna do a picture. We're a family. And Ray and Kazuki are like, a family. And I'm like, are you 10 years? What are you talking about? How is this a new concept to you guys? That felt weird.
That was a little weird. But it's just at 10 years, does she know they were assassins? Because he's like, man, I spent all this time doing honest work. And she's like, honest work? You snuck out drinking last night. But those two aren't like nested subjects.
Yeah, maybe she thinks that's what he means. Like he used to be a womanizer and a carouser and a drinker, and he kind of cleaned up, sort of.
Sort of. Well, I mean, he cleaned up a lot. Even if he's still like a womanizer, he's still not a hitman, you know?
Right. Do you think they ever had that discussion about your dad was a terrible person and we were hired to kill him and that's how we got you?
Right.
Think that ever came up? Like, I imagine Kazuki after a couple years would be like, this is really digging at me. This is really bothering me.
I feel like
she needs to know the truth, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that time she's at this age, she's probably had to be like, how come there are so other few people in Japan who have 2 dads? What's up with that? You know? And how come I'm not biologically related to either of them?
Yeah, and what happened to my mom? I remember a mom. What happened? Where'd she go?
She's on a trip.
Like, she's helping Santa deliver his presents.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, they skipped over that whole conversation because that's a tough one. Even if they never mention what happened to her dad, they have to say what happened to mom.
Well, yeah, she has to know that her mom's dead because she's like keeping the keepsake of the photo.
Yeah. She doesn't. I mean, that doesn't mean she knows what happened to her. She could just be gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if she didn't know, she wouldn't have the only photo of herself with her mom. I think that's different if she knows her mom's dead. Because her mother was a famous singer, and so if your mother is just off somewhere, I think she just grabs a photo. But knowing that she's dead, she's like, no, I want the last time I can remember being with her, which is linked to that photo, because the more you see that photo, the more you remember that memory. And then eventually, after 10 years, it's the only one that you have from when you were 4. You know, that's my theory on it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like they can't tell her the truth. They can maybe tell her
She
there was
died
a
of
home
cancer.
invasion. She died of cancer. There's a home invasion. Some random dude shot her and killed her. It was horrible. But they can't tell her, like, Ray grew up in a criminal mafia organization and he wanted to leave and they said no, so they killed your mom and they were going to kill you. It's like, no, they can't have that conversation. That's probably not something they can do.
I don't know. I like to believe that family has no secrets. That they're pure and wholesome.
But their secrets are big ones, man.
Yep. Yeah.
I just don't know how that doesn't destroy them. They're honest about what happened to her parents, like fully honest with all available context.
Then
I don't know how you deal with that.
I think Mary looks at the wonderful job those two hitmen did raising her and forgives them.
Oof. Yeah, I don't know. They cheated. They skipped right over all of that
They
stuff.
skipped it. Yep.
Like, just trust us. We had those conversations. It was rough, but everything's fine now. Anyway, point is, yeah, I thought it was good. I think they stuck the landing. That was nice.
It was good. I mean, I'm disappointed there's no chance of a season 2. Nothing like that. Well, I suppose...
Why? Why is there no chance? I think there's a small chance, but why is there no chance?
Well, I figured there was no chance that's what they were doing by skipping to 10 years later. That they were just like, look, everything's settled. It's fine. Like, you know, here's the happy ending everyone wants. You could still go back and be like, now Mary's 5, or now she's 6, and the mafia is still after them. But,
yeah. Or you could do 10 years later, and, I mean, you could do the tropiest of tropes. Someone in the neighborhood's in trouble, and Kazuki and Ray have the skills to help them, right? And then, oh no, Miri finds out that her dads have secret assassination skills. They could totally do something like that, too.
I like that less.
Yeah, me too. But I'm just saying, it's an option.
Well, okay.
I would be surprised if they came back with anything, but there are things they could do if they wanted to.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff, though.
So in other news this week, the Dungeons and Dragons movie was released.
So good. I saw it twice.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, I saw it once, and then I noticed the time. I was like, 3 o'clock, my brother's getting out of work. So I sent him a message. There's another showing at 3:30. Do you want to go see it? And he's like, sure. So I watched it back to back.
Very fun. That sounds like a great time.
It is fun. The more you know about D&D, the more you'll get, but also the more annoyed you'll be. So, like...
Yeah. I mean, as is true for...
everything.
Any movie about a specialized field of information.
Yeah. I just want to complain briefly because they have in their party at various given times a barbarian, a rogue, a sorcerer, a wizard,
paladin.
A paladin, a bard, and a druid, right? Only
specifically a wild shape druid.
Yes. I think all druids can wild shape. In D&D. At least in 5th edition. I don't know about others.
All right.
But the wizard isn't in the party for very long. I don't want to spoil the movie, but she doesn't stick around. They've just got the sorcerer and everyone else. The druid only ever uses wild shape and a slingshot, like in combat. No spells. Literally 0 spell casting from the druid.
Correct.
Even though druids have loads of spells in D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just... that's annoying, because only the sorcerer casts spells. The bard doesn't. The paladin doesn't. Doesn't lay on hands or anything like that.
He kind of powers up his sword that one time. Yeah,
but that's a sword. It's like special effect. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I saw it today.
Oh, okay, excellent. Good, I don't have to actually... I was floating around because I figured you hadn't seen it. Okay. Yeah.
I was waiting for you to be like, wait a second, how do you know these things?
Okay. Yeah, so literally no one casts any magic except for the sorcerer. And I went and looked for, some reason for this online. And in an interview with the director, he was like, well, it's kind of determined by the story because magic can kind of solve everything. So we didn't want everyone having a bunch of magic powers because then they would have no real threats, right?
But they addressed that early in the film by having the sorcerer say, magic doesn't solve every problem. Stop thinking magic solves every problem.
Exactly. That is what annoys me the most.
Yeah.
And like, I had to, like, I was looking and I'm like, okay, let's see if anyone's done like a breakdown on what kind of classes and these are. And apparently who's the con man guy? I can't remember his name. I've seen the movie twice. Hugh Grant's character. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Forge. His name is Forge.
Forge, yeah, because he does forgeries. So on the nose, it's perfect to D&D. People.
It's very D&D.
Yeah. There's so much about it that feels D&D, where everyone's like, I've heard of this paladin working out of blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, you know what? I've heard of that person too, as they roll history checks. Like, a lot of the movie felt D&D like that. It was good. But LaForge is apparently a rogue. Like, his...
Oh.
Like, what I was looking at, like, character breakdowns, his character is listed as the rogue.
He doesn't do anything roguey at all.
No.
He can hold a dagger. Well, no, at the end he has a dagger. But other than that...
Yeah, literally nothing.
Yeah.
He has a crossbow at one point, also doesn't shoot it. He hits a dude with a whip while he's driving a horse, which...
Yeah.
One of the reasons I had to watch it twice was Eddie, Chris Pine's character, or Ed.
Yeah.
Ed. Yeah, he like when he's given like his speech to the judges to get out of prison. He's like, "We didn't hurt anyone," but like literally 2 minutes ago in this cell, the barbarian killed a dude.
Whoa, that doesn't count. If you kill someone in prison, they're not like, "Oh, you guys."
I don't know. I feel like if you have a moral code, even if you go to prison, you try to stick by that code because it's a moral code.
Well, what if they just knocked him out? What if she just knocked him unconscious? She like broke his legs, which is pretty rough. But then I don't know. She headbutts him and he falls over and hits the piss bucket. Like I don't know any of that indicates death.
And then freezes to death because they're not gonna help him.
I mean, okay, but
they leave Jonathan out in the cold when they escape. Like they just like, oh, he's breathing, and then like leave him to die in the middle of a snowstorm.
No. They escaped from a prison at that point. Like, sure, all that stuff counts. But I'm saying prior to that point.
Okay.
I don't know. If a prisoner's found dead from freezing to death in that prison, the guards are like, okay, that's the 8th one today. Pull him out and throw him off the edge. Right?
Frozen to death with 2 broken legs.
Yeah. Who cares? It's a freaking Dungeons and Dragons dungeon. Nobody gives a crap. There are no prisoners' rights here.
They have absolution councils. They absolutely believe these prisoners have rights.
Oh, that's true. They have freaking parole boards.
Yeah.
I laughed a bunch in this movie, but I thought it was really funny as they're like falling out the window after having tackled the bird judge. They're like,
we approved your parole. I really like that. Again, so D&D for the party just to make a clusterfuck out of it. What would have been a perfectly fine situation for them, you know?
Yes.
That was good.
Super great. Especially because at that point, they can't do anything about it. They can't be like, reverse decision. Nope, you're already tackled the judge and you're falling out a window.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Anywho, yeah, I just thought it moved. It was really well paced. I felt like the writing was fun. The character development was pretty good. Yeah, it's Michelle Rodriguez, right?
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez as Holga Kilgore, the barbarian.
And at first I was like, what is this performance? Why is she so stiff and kind of dumb? Oh, she's a barbarian. It took me a second to figure out what she was and what she was trying to do, because I was like, she doesn't seem into this role at all. But it totally grew on me, and I thought she nailed it.
Weirdly enough, I thought this was a role perfect for Michelle Rodriguez. Like, I've seen her in other things, and I'm just like, okay, you're trying a little too hard. Or it's Fast and the Furious, and I'm like, nobody here is playing a good role.
Right.
But no, I felt like she nailed this.
Agreed. I thought
No.
she was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she's like, our druid can turn into a deer. And
Yeah.
Chris Pine's like, yeah, blend in with all the other deer in the city.
She's like, don't mock me.
And then the tiefling totally turns into a deer and she's trying to escape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Michelle Rodriguez is like, see? Deer!
Yeah, I love that that's how they cut back to that situation. Like, the line she gives is, so she did turn into a deer. A summarizes that they're back at, like, the group, that she's summarized the events. It's such a well-written line. And it's funny, of course, right?
Yeah.
It good writing. Good writing. Who would have thought?
No, absolutely. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought the Paladin character, it's a good way to do a Paladin because it's like he's an unstoppable fighter. He's an incredibly good dude.
Mm-hmm.
But like we can't make him perfect because that's boring. So he is really boring to talk to and doesn't understand idioms.
Right.
Like, okay, we've seen that with Drax. Like, it's not exactly a new thing, but they had to do something with that guy because otherwise, just an unstoppable force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If he had charisma as well, it'd be too far.
Yes. Which is, I don't know. While it's more annoying that Chris Pine's character didn't have any magic or anything really that he was capable of doing, because what he has is charisma, and there's only so much talking that can really get done, and he doesn't actually get a lot done with talking to other people besides his party. Like, at any point. Like, the one successful role that he has is at the hearing court, or the absolution court, and then he grabs a bird and jumps out a window, so it's kind of moot. And
yeah.
But I will say, I felt bad for Chris Pine's character, because he does literally nothing but say, oh, the sorcerer, you can do it, just don't tell him, but I still think you can do this. Like, it's a good plan, let's go try, get this helmet. And then everyone's like, oh, you knew he couldn't do it? You've been lying to us? And he's like, no, he's been...
That's not what happened at all.
No, yeah. It's like, how did you get a lie out of that situation? He literally did nothing wrong to any of those people, and they all just turned on him in an instant.
Right. But, I mean, they weren't very good at clarifying this. But if he had told the rest of the party that everything hinged on this really shitty sorcerer figuring out how to attune with a really powerful magical object, they all would have said no. Right? It wasn't about Chris Pine's level of belief. It was about their level of belief. And he kept that from them because he knew that they wouldn't believe in the kid.
Right, yeah.
But then they made it about they thought Chris Pine didn't believe. But that wasn't the point at all. It's that the rest of the party didn't believe in him.
Yes.
And yeah, Chris Pine kept that a secret, which was a dick move. And they should have been mad about that. But that wasn't super clear.
So I'm trying to Google for druid rules, because like when she's escaping from the castle, I'm like, okay, she's gone in as a fly, then a rat, then a bird, then a cat, then back to herself, then like an emu thing, and then a deer. I was like counting the number of times you can use wild shape, because I know you can only use that twice per day, right? Unless you're a level 20 druid, then you can use it an infinite number of times per day.
If she's a level 20 druid.
If she's a level 20 druid, nothing in this game should have posed any threat to her at any point. Like, level 20 druids are basically gods, But I went to double check this, so I just Googled for how many times can a druid wild shape, and I got to how many times, and then the Google autocompletes are killing me. So it's how many times a day should I poop? How many times should I pee a day? And how many times has Kenny died?
Oh, Kenny. From South Park. How many is that? They stopped killing him like 8 seasons ago.
Oh, have they really?
Yeah. They did it every episode for many, many years. But the show's been on for 25 years now, and they stopped a good long time ago.
126 times.
Yeah. And how many episodes of South Park are there?
Oh, well, he dies more than once per episode, sometimes. But yeah.
There are 26 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And like 20 episodes per season for a lot of them. Yeah,
Mhm.
like yeah.
Yeah.
325 episodes of South Park have aired, says Wikipedia. So, yeah. So he's died, about a third of the amount of episodes that exist in the show. So, like I said, early they killed him all the time, and then they were like, "This is getting old," and they stopped.
Right.
That's, I mean, as a quick aside, it's a really interesting. South Park's an interesting thing because it's been around forever. But we went to a local arcade. I took the kids there on Saturday, and they have a pinball machine for South Park that my kid was interested in.
Yeah.
So tons. It was made in 1999. This pinball machine was, and this thing launched in 1997. Okay, so that's
they got it quick.
Seasons. They make a pinball machine, and it has like 87 iconic, classic South Park things in it. Those first few seasons were jam-packed with just iconic lines, characters, moments, stuff you're referring to for years afterwards. And it just makes me wonder, like, what's the ratio of how much iconic stuff is in the next 20 years of South Park? Did it really slow down? And like the one thing I can think of is they turned Randy into a funnier character.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It was just interesting to see how much classic stuff was super duper early in the South Park run. That's all.
Yeah, no. I would like to go back to nitpicking a D&D movie. An owlbear is a challenge rating 3 creature, and a druid at 8th level can only wild shape into a challenge rating of 1.
Right, because she's a 20 level. We already talked about this.
But it doesn't go up from that. Like, challenge rating of 1 is the highest you can go, it seems. I'm looking at the rules. I can't find anything more.
Wait. So she can't turn into an owlbear even if she's level 20? That doesn't make any sense.
That's what I'm reading.
Who can turn into an owlbear then?
No one.
Nobody.
NPCs who don't have to follow the game's rules.
Sure. I buy that.
Yeah.
But it was so cool.
It was cool. Owlbears are awesome.
It's very rule of cool in this movie, I guess.
Yes, it is. Especially, like, they totally disregard, like, in sake of rule of cool when, like, he does finally get the helmet to work and it shuts off all magical enchantments in the area and then immediately uses his sending stone to tell everyone. It's like, okay, that's the one piece of magic that doesn't get turned off. Oh, the trap inside the vault to, like, spring and tentacle cover everyone doesn't get turned off either. How convenient.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. But other than that, good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. It would have been nice to see Chris Pine's character do some inspiration spells or...
Well, I think that's what they were vaguely going with, like when Holger comes out from seeing her ex-husband and she's down. He starts playing the lute and cheers her up a bit. That's kind of inspiration. Whether or not... Like, how do you visualize giving someone a D6 to add to a roll, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I guess that's the problem with like an inspiration spell, is it kind of just works by actually a regular person playing inspirational music.
Right? Yeah.
Bards are fun that way.
It's true. I really like the sorcerer's minor illusion where he summons Ed to play the lute and distract the guards, and then he gets his foot stuck.
The illusion starts like melting.
Yeah, it's like a record skipping on repeat as well. It's great. It's good stuff. Visually very fun. Great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, overall I think everybody did a pretty good job. Was that Olivia Colman? Who was Michelle Rodriguez's ex's new wife?
No.
Okay, she looked so much like Olivia Colman.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But who was Michelle Rodriguez's husband? What was his name? It's
That's Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. I knew who it was. I just couldn't think of the name.
That's like the first thing I've seen him in since freaking
Guardians.
like, well, no, because he's a raccoon. The first time I've seen him on screen.
Oh, since Silver Lining Playbook.
I didn't see that. So it's
it's good. You should watch it.
Limitless. Do you remember that movie he made in the mid 2000s where like you take a drug and it
unlocks
100% of your brain?
Yeah.
That's the thing I've seen him in. So I was like,
you haven't seen American Sniper?
Nope.
Oh, it's also not terrible.
Right. But I mean, he's been spending a ton of time being a raccoon. So that takes options away from him being doing live action stuff. But he's definitely been in live action stuff. As you're highlighting here.
I mean, I definitely haven't seen everything he's in. I haven't seen A Star Is Born. Don't know what that's about.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think that's Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Sure.
Uh-huh. I didn't care to go see that one either. So I guess Bradley Cooper, his problem is he's in stuff that I don't care to see him in. But it was kind of fun to be like this big, strong barbarian's like totally in love with this little tiny man. That was great.
Yeah. I like when she's flirting with the guy giving her a medal at the end as well.
Yeah. What is that race? What is this?
He's a
person.
I think he's a gnome.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the proportions are all just like regular human, just shrunk down.
Right.
Yeah. Not even short. Like tiny. I don't know.
Could be
furniture in his house was like regular barbarian size. Like, you don't get your own chair? What the crap, dude?
Yeah, maybe they just took it literally with the phrasing of halfling. You know?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I did like that he was obviously into barbarian women, and she was obviously into like halfling dudes. That was fun.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought the acting was good. I thought Chris Pine's daughter was okay. I think they asked her to do a little bit too much, more than she was maybe capable of doing.
Kira, I think her name was.
Yeah.
She was okay. I liked her. She
okay.
As far as like young or child actresses go, I generally don't care for them. Like, I don't think they're particularly convincing in many roles.
Right.
But
I mean, unless they're really good, which happens sometimes, but not very much.
Yeah. I don't like. She wasn't notable. I really enjoyed like the one scene where she really got to do anything, which is like break down laughing because she was actually being played by the Red Witch.
Red Wizard. Yeah, that was cool. That was a good scene.
Yeah. And it's like, you get one expressive moment, and then you're shaped into another person, and it's all CG. So, getting there.
Well, there's that scene where Chris Pine comes back after 2 years, right? And he's talking to her, and he's trying to like explain what happened and how much he's missed her and stuff. And then he says, "Why are you mad at me?" And I looked at her face, and I'm like, "Is that anger?" What are we trying to communicate here exactly?
Right.
It wasn't great. There were some other times they gave her a chance to to check it out. Anyway. Oh. Yeah, and then I thought the actress who played the tiefling was all right. Like, she's really stiff and like wooden the entire time. And I get she's kind of a dry, sarcastic character, and she doesn't really like humans, and like, sure, but man,
I agree, but I think the reason she comes off as very dry is because they literally give every interaction to Chris Pine. Like, every time someone has to do something, Chris Pine's at the center. And I get it, he's a charming, attractive man, but like, Chris Pine literally mentions this as like, can't anyone else ride besides this guy? And then literally the next scene is him going, yes, we're going to the Underdark via the Orifice. It's one of the less conspicuous endings. And who do they cut to for a reaction quip? It's Chris Pine. And then they go down in the Underdark, and it's like, oh, if you need to, you can hold my hand if it gets too dark, and I will lead you. And he's like, who do they go to for a reaction? It's Chris Pine being like, I won't hold him. And then who is it whispering in the obviously echoing tunnel? It's Chris Pine. You know?
It's true.
He is so over-dialogued that no one else really gets a chance. But
I mean, they're okay, but I mean, there are moments the other actors get a chance to shine. When they first
there are.
meet Tiefling character,
Yeah.
Sorcerer's like, remember me? I courted you. You said I made you sad just by existing. Like, there's nothing. There's no facial expression there. Even when she's like, oh yeah, it's like blank.
I generally think she's pretty good with him, though. I think they work off each other in a kind of, oh yeah, I remember that. I don't, yep.
And even when he's like, could I try courting you again? And she's like, yeah, whatevs. I thought that reaction was very funny. But then there's just nothing there. There's no emotion at all behind it. Like, I feel like the intent is, if she's going to say yes, there's got to be some feeling there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just not. And this is like, whatever. You're fine, I guess. Like, I don't want to kill anybody, but I just felt like there were some subpar performances around.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I generally quite liked everyone for the most part. I feel like the red wizard lady is not particularly convincing, but mainly because her job is to stand there, be unconvinced by everything, and then try to kill everyone.
True. The last like 10 minutes where she actually gets to do stuff, I thought she was pretty good.
She was like, she's an enjoyable in the fight scene. I thought like her choreography was very excellent. But, you know, other than that, her job is to like stick her finger in a cup of tea or tell someone to go and kill people. She doesn't really emote.
Say, get out of my city. That was
right.
Great.
Yeah. When the charade finally drops for her and she can just be like, all right, I'm free of this ridiculous man.
Yeah.
Very well written. I don't have any other way to phrase it. She was like, that scene made sense and I liked everything it did.
And overall, I felt like the fight choreography for everything was pretty good. Like, it was better than I expected it to be.
Yep. I agree.
I think it was well staged. Obviously, they've done a lot of work with it. They didn't do the trick where everything's close-ups and cuts every half second, so you can't quite tell what's going on.
Right.
They did some of that. They did some of the like, no, we're here. No, we're here. Now we're here. And it's like, all right, slow it down, guys.
Just a little, not a lot.
Especially when the Paladin's fighting the red wizards in the Underdark.
Yes. Yeah.
There was some wide shots, but there was also kind of a bunch of close-up stuff there. And then what I love is he kills them all, and then he's like, we should run. And they're like, why? And he's like, what's, already dead is hard to kill. And they get back up, and it's like, so why did we bother killing them the first time? Just run the first time, guys.
Yeah. Yes.
I guess they had to show off some fancy fight choreography there with our Paladin guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, he might have not known how long it takes for them to reconstitute themselves. So he was like, okay, I can put them all down once by myself for reasons. Right. I guess to make sure nobody else got hurt because they have no healer because the druid can't heal and neither can the paladin. But
don't bards sometimes have healing spells too?
Also true. They have cure wounds. Yes, they do. Healing word.
But yeah, nobody can heal. So that's
nobody can heal.
But it's red wizard swords. They can't heal that anyway. You can't fix that, right? I mean, in the movie, I don't know if that's a D&D thing, but in the movie, you get hit with a red wizard sword, you're toast.
Right, but the red wizard sword specifically is this tiny little dagger thing, because it's the same one, or at least of the same make, that his wife was stabbed by. What they
all have them.
They all have different kinds of blades. Like, the main zombie dude has, like, a green glowing sword.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, yeah, it was. It looked very cool. But does it provide wounds that can't be killed? Because if you get stabbed by a red wizard blade, you just die. And he definitely took hits. He had that moment where the sword was like under his armpit, burning him.
That's true. I thought that would come back. Nope, it meant nothing.
No. Literally nothing.
Right. I forgot about that. Okay, fair. So yeah, maybe not. Whatever. It doesn't matter. They're running. Oh, the portal gun. The portal gun is amazing. As soon as he pops it, I'm like, that's a they're doing portal. This is awesome.
Yeah. And at first I was like, okay, I get it. They're like using portal to get across the bridge up. And this funny joke of his like, I didn't know that's where the enchantment on the bridge started. With the totally very simple step method of like Start in the center, then every 5 steps, take 1 lateral step to the right. It doesn't matter left or right as long as the person at the front is equidistant from the person in the back. And once you get halfway across the bridge, and then you have to take every 4 steps.
And then it's even
the numbers.
instead of odd.
But then every 4 steps, take a lateral step.
I was like, they're dead. They are not pulling this off. Then they didn't have to try. That was nice.
Yeah. And then they pull out like, oh, it's actually a portal gun. I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. You get across. But then they kept using it in a very interesting way.
Yeah.
Like getting into the vault like that with the painting. Very good, I thought. Very enjoyable.
I thought so too. Except for the part where they're dragging under the carriage and the 2 guards on horseback behind them are like, what's going on? And they never raise any kind of an alarm at all.
Right.
Like, why? Why is that there? Like, just don't have that happen. Have it be the last caravan, like the last carriage in the caravan, so nobody sees them dragging underneath, because why would guards just be like, this is weird, there's someone under the carriage being dragged. Oh, well.
They literally didn't see it. They were just talking, and then they look over and they see Holger like rear-ending a dude, like just pile driving him into the ground. Is what they think is going on.
Yes. But yeah, I thought it was great. And then they do the portal on the painting. Really brilliant idea, and I love that it just falls over.
Yeah.
So they do the other end of the portal and like, wait, what happens? Like, oh crap, it's face down. Who does that? Yeah, that was good. I like the portal gun a lot. I loved the chubby dragon.
Thembachon, yeah.
The fat dragon fight was fun.
Yeah. Yep. I really loved it. I'm not so D&D knowledgeable that I knew who that was. Like, because like he names him immediately. Oh, that's Thembachon. I'm like, oh, okay. Are we supposed to know? No, that's just like a reference. Like if you know who that is, you know who that is. But you pick up on what his gist is. It's like he's a chubby dragon. He can't fly. He can't breathe fire. He just like flammable gas.
Yeah. Kind of like sparking back there, but it never quite catches.
Yeah.
I love that one of his attack is like rolling. Rolling at you.
Yes.
That was good. So yeah, a lot of fun times. They definitely delivered on the Dungeons and Dragons part of it. There were multiple dragons.
It's even a couple of dungeons.
Yeah. Couple of dungeons, couple of dragons. The one stone dragon that the red sorceress turned into a dragon. That was fun.
Yep. There was also a stone dragon when they were using Speak with Dead. And they're like, on this battlefield, like we knew we had the outnumbers. And then there's a dragon that flies over that spits stones in the flashback.
Acid it was spitting. Was that stones?
It didn't look green. It looked brown to me. And like it wasn't like laying fire everywhere. So I assumed hot stones.
I thought it was just like melting people with acid.
I don't know. I didn't see a lot of melting people.
It's a pretty short scene with it. But
it is. It's very short.
Anyway, point being, they couldn't deal with the dragon because dragons are tough.
Right.
Yeah. With the stone dragon fight, like once it became clear you couldn't hurt it with any of your weapons, go after the caster, you morons. I was like, try to kill the red sorceress. What are you doing?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like they can't ignore it either because it will kill them. But it was like they made it very clear that they had to try and hit her with something to break her concentration. Because that's what that was. She had to make a concentration saving throw. Or fail to maintain the spell. Really great little D&D interaction. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. I just needed someone to figure it out a little bit faster. Because it's like they tried to fight it. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You're trying to fight this thing. But axe isn't doing anything. And you covering its head with a cloth isn't doing anything.
Right.
Yeah. They got there. They got there in the end.
Yep.
Yeah. I do want to point out, there's no way that they had a set in stone plan for getting stuck in, like pretending to getting stuck in the time stop. Right? It happens, and then they're like, aha, our plan worked perfectly. I'm like, what? Man, what's the plan? If he hits us with the time stop, guys, everyone pretend it's working. Sorcerer, break the time stop, but don't make it obvious. And then my daughter's going to invisible throw a magical resistance restraint on her without her noticing. Okay, everyone, go. It's like, no.
I mean,
no.
It's a good plan, but
it is.
The wizard
had it.
The wizard would totally know that this spell had been counterspelled.
Right.
Just throw that out
there. Yeah. You know. Totally countered your spell. And she's like, what? And it's like, no, it's not really how magic works.
I should look up and see if sorcerers can take counterspell. Because, I mean, if they can't, then, the entire movie's unwatchable. No, they can take it. It's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, all of this just goes back to the theory we've talked about a bunch about different movies and TV shows, is you don't have to make a perfect TV show or movie. You don't have to get every detail perfect if you're working in a specific world. But if your characters are good and your writing is entertaining and your pacing is good and everyone has a good time and has some feels, then they're going to like your movie.
Yep.
That's it. If characters are bad and the writing sucks and it drags, then yeah, they're going to nitpick you to death over the stuff you didn't get right and use it as a reason why your movie sucks.
Accurate.
But if they like it and everything else, they'll let the rest of the stuff go because it doesn't matter.
Yes.
The end.
Yep.
I hope they have these discussions in Hollywood because I think it's an important lesson to learn.
Yeah, I mean,
not that it's easy. I'm just like, just make characters people like. It's not like,
right?
You know, it's not like everyone can do that. So, yeah, but do it anyway.
Yeah. And if you're gonna make sure nobody can do magic and nobody can heal because you're obviously opting to have no cleric, give a cleric token to the sorcerer so he can cast Speak with Dead unlimited times.
Yes. That was a fun scene. I like that.
That's a lot of fun. I like how they miscount the number of... Although, I'm going to nitpick again, because the very first guy that they raise, obviously no matter who asks the question, he goes... he answers in the correct way, and it counts, and then he goes dead, right? Which would have really sucked if that was the guy who knew where the helmet was, but anyway.
Totally.
It's played for last, and I get it. The last guy... Or they have to be like, oh, what's your favorite book? Is that the last question? Well, it's rambling. Let's just walk off. And it was like, it's only the fourth question. Yeah. Is right before they ask that fourth question and walk off, is when they learn about the Gek character, or Zek. And the tiefling asks Simon, oh, what's his problem with the Tians? And he's like, oh, he's got history. But that's a question in the area. That didn't count. Right. And he goes, oh, what's his problem with the Harpers? He's got history with that. Like, they totally just ignore their own rules there for a second, and I get it, but it did annoy me.
Yeah, for sure. Because, they established it in the first one, and they just didn't really follow their own rules from the rest of the time on. Accurate. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that whole scene was fun because I like the one dude who just slipped and fell and hit his head on the
bathtub. Yeah, it's like, oh no, I'm Sven. You want Fen? My brother.
They're like, but what about the helmet? And they're like, what are you talking about?
So that's when I died. So I stepped on the stone and slipped. And he's like, and then you went into battle. I was like, no, that's where I died. Which, I mean, do barbarians really take baths before battle? I don't know.
It doesn't sound like a barbarian thing to do.
Nope, pretty unbarbarian.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And the whole message of you need to let your wife, the mother of your child, go. She's been gone for a long time. The mother your daughter knows is here. This is your family.
Right.
I know it's not what you originally intended your family to be, but this is your family now. Roll with it.
Right.
Yeah. That was nice.
I felt like watching the movie that Chris Pine's character didn't quite realize that Holger had been a perfectly fine replacement mother for his daughter the entire time, and trying to resurrect his wife was not the same as resurrecting her mother. And I felt like his realizing that and it felt like a very natural, good payoff for the movie. Like for their emotional arc. He says it to the wrong person, but you know, I thought it was good writing. I thought it was a well written movie.
Yeah, for sure. And I loved when Olga got res. She was like, "Are you kidding me? You use that thing on me? What is wrong with you?" And they're just like, "Aw, hug time."
Yeah.
Because, I mean, part of it's like a barbarian dying honorably in battle, saving a ton of people is kind of like what she wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to be like, come back is a bit of a dick move.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
Nah, she can die honorably some other time. There's going to be options.
In the next movie.
Yeah, which they're probably going to do. This is pretty successful.
Yeah, was it?
I'm hearing good things about the box office. I mean, it made more money than John Wick this week.
Really?
Yeah. So doing all right. So it was made for $100 million, and opening weekend was $40 million.
Okay.
So it's a good start. It's got a long way to go to make its money back, but I think the buzz is good, and I think enough people. I don't know. The word of mouth is good, and I think that's usually a good sign for a movie success.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I hope it makes its money back and we get another one.
Yeah, me too. I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
I'd go see it.
Me too.
All right, neat.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, so a good week for media, man. Like a great end to Buddy Daddies, and then a nice, solid, fun Dungeons and Dragons movie. Like, can't ask for more than that.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, cool. Well, let's wrap this up then. We are at time.
True.
True. All right, neat. So that is going to be it from us today. This has been Falcon Paladin Somicron with another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour, streamed live at twitch.tv/Somicron, also posted on YouTube, youtube.com/@Somicron. The @ always trips me up, YouTube. Just do /Somicron. What is wrong with you? You can support the podcast directly by buying merch at falconpaladin.store and also at patreon.com/Somicron. Neat.
It's true.
So yeah, that's going to be it from us. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. And above all, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Twitch spam bot.